All right. So on the calculator portion of test three, just so everybody is straight with what's going to happen. On the calculator portion of test three, you're going to have a question like this, and it will ask you to find the vertex, and it may also ask you to find the x-intercept. Now, this one may or may not have an x-intercept involved. It may not cross the x-axis, but if it does, I'll show you how to find that as well. Okay. So for a problem like this, it's on the calculator portion for a reason. Because you're supposed to use the calculator, Jenna. That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah, I just called you out in front of God and everybody.
It's open now.
Okay, good. So let's go ahead and bring the calculator up. So we have the equation. We're going to type that in. We're going to go to y equals. We're going to go to pi x squared. So pi x squared minus square root of 5x. Again, depending on how your calculator sets up. Yeah, I did. I mean, I'm telling you, in some South Asian cultures, that would be the same. Be careful with the square root of 5 here. Because if you just put the x here, it messes up the whole picture. All right? What you have to do is you have to close this square root first and then press the x. If you have a TI-84, you're going to have to move it to the right first and then press the x. Because your 5 goes up underneath the square root and it looks pretty. All right? So plus 2. Now we're going to hit graph. So this graph does not cross the x-axis. So there are no x-intercepts. But what's the vertex? So, Alan, I love you.
I got the right one now.
Okay. If you just hit table and you look for the smallest value, it won't work because this is just giving you, integer solutions, right? So how do you find this point here on the bottom? It's the vertex. How do you find it? Now, I see some people going like this. Hell, I don't know. All right. How do you do it mathematically? Second, calc. And we're looking for the minimum value, number 3. All right. Now, if you remember when we were talking about the vertex stuff, and I was giving you all those questions, when's it increasing? When's it decreasing? Is it concave up? Is it concave down? Domain, range. Remember all those questions I asked you with the pictures? One of the questions was, is the vertex a max or a min? You remember that? And it may have seemed kind of pointless, like why the heck do we care? We care because in this case, we know that the vertex is a minimum point, and so we can ask the calculator to define that minimum point. And in finding that minimum point, we have now found the vertex. Now, it'll ask me to be on the left side. Now, when I do this, it's hard for me to get you to see this, but the cursor's got to be on the left side, not of the axis necessarily, but on the left side of this hump. Does that make sense? A lot of people, when I say left bound, they think it's got to be on the left side of the y-axis. It has nothing to do with that. All right. Now, in this case, I'm on the left side of the axis, but that's not my point of reference. My point of reference is this bottom hump, and I just got to be on the left side of that. Okay. So I'm gonna press enter there. I'm gonna go to the right side. Now, again, I'm on the right side of the hump, and I'll press enter, and then I'll just hit enter for the guess, and that will give me that the vertex. That will give me that the vertex is 0.36 and 1.6. Okay. Does that make sense? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you another one because I know how much you like doing these. I'm going to give you another one. We're going to do y equals cube root, negative cube root 7x, x squared plus pi x plus 5. Now I'm going to press pause, give everybody a chance to find the vertex and also find the x-intercept. I'm going to press pause and give everybody a chance to do it. So if you're watching it at home, it's going to resume here real soon. I'm back, and somebody just said I didn't ask for the x-intercept. So we're going to pause while they find the x-intercept. All right, so we're back. The person that we thought was going to give us the answer has now decided they don't want to give us the answer. So we just give her grace. We got negative cube root. Suppress math. Go to number. Oh no, don't even go to number. Just go right here. Cube root 7 x squared plus pi x plus 5 graph we're looking for this hump, yes? Is that a maximum or minimum? Second calc, maximum. So again, we're going to be on the left side, right side, I guess. Again, left side is not necessarily the left side of the y-axis. It's the left side of this hump. So even if you were like right here, you're on the left side of the hump. Well, that's just too dangerously close. So I go ahead and move it well to the left. And then I move it well to the right of the hump. And then I press enter. And I get 0.82 and 6.29. 0.82 and 6.29. Well, here's the thing. If you're going to round it to 6.3, why don't we just round it to 0.8? How the hell is that any different? I mean, the argument that is, let's round this to 6.3, but let's round this to 0.82. And then I was going to say, if we're going to round it to 0.8, we might as well just round it to 1.
So if we round it down to test, we'll do that.
No, so, honestly, though, just for the record, on the test, read the directions. It will tell you what to round to. Okay? And you're right. I would not mark it wrong if you wrote 6.3 because 8.985 seems like it should be rounded to 6.3. But we usually will tell you to round to the nearest hundredths place. Sometimes I said to round the nearest thousandths place just to see who knows what a thousandths place is so that I can really just like humble myself back to reality. Because when I say round the nearest thousandths place, I get all kinds of answers. Some people just write the whole damn thing down. Like, just don't round nothing. All right? So, yeah. Tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. Okay, we're done. All right, x-intercepts. So, how do I find the x-intercept? And it's not, and some people go like this. Well, negative 1, 2.7. Oh, is it really?
Almost, yeah.
All right, so how do you find these 2 points? Here's the way I do it. Now, you can do it however you want to, but here's the way I do it. Some of y'all like quadratic formula. Go ahead. Knock yourself right out. I go like this. I will plug in y2 as 0. Now, remember that I'm telling you I plug in y2 as 0. And then I hit graph. And to the untrained eye, nothing has happened. right? Like it looks like the exact same picture you just saw. But what has happened is it plotted the parabola, and then it also plotted, you just don't see it, it also plotted the parabola, but it also plotted the x-axis, right? The only problem is when I have the axis turned on, which is what it defaults to, that line doesn't seem to show up because the axis is there. Does that make sense? But we did just do that. And so then I find the x-intercepts by hitting second, calc, and I do it by using the intersect technique, number 5. If not, you'd have to do 0, number 2. Okay, but if you plot the x-axis, you can do it with the intersect, where you hit first curve, second curve, guess, and it will give you the answer for where it crosses the x-axis.
Wait, can you do that again?
Yep. Second calc, intersect. If you have both graphs, plotted, the parabola and the axis, then you would just do first curve, enter, second curve, enter, guess, enter. And you'd get negative 0.99.
Since it doesn't give you both of them at the same time, isn't it like the exact same thing as doing the zeros?
Oh yeah, it's the exact same thing.
Okay.
The difference with the zeros is you got to pay attention to the left side and right side. This, you don't have to pay attention to anything. You just press enter 3 times and you're done. Okay? So second calc, intersect, first curve, second curve, and then move it over here and do the other one. Remembering that when you hit guess, it's going to give you the x-intercept closest to wherever you guess at. So if you just left it over here, it would give you this one again. Okay? Now, 2 things. Number 1, if you did not want to plot y equals, oh shoot, I didn't look at the answers, but if you did not plot 0 and you just plotted the parabola, then you would not be able to do second calc intersect. Because I have people come up to me on test day going like this. Well, when I hit first curve, it ain't let me hit second. It's broke. It's broke because you don't have a second curve. And you're just trying to select the same one over and over again. And then people are like, well, how did you get it to jump down to the other one? Well, I was able to jump down to the other one because I had another graph there. Does that make sense? Now, if you didn't do it that way, you would have to do the 0 technique. And the 0 works, but you just got to do left bound, right bound, and it's a little bit more of a pain in the butt, in my opinion. But left side would be the left of the x-axis, or left of the x-intercept. Right side would be get to the right side of the x-intercept, and then guess. Ultimately, you're going to get the same answer. Does that make sense? You're going to get negative 0.99. I just find it easier to do it if you set it equal to 0 and do it that way. But that's personal preference. Okay, so the x-intercepts are negative 0.99. And what was the other one? 2.63? If you did the other one, you could do the 0 again. It'll ask you for the left bound. Now again, if this is the axis, the left side is on this side. So anywhere over here is fine. Now I get to the right side of the x-intercept. That's over here. And you'll get 2.63. Any questions on that?